Okay, so recently in the last few weeks, Alex Novell put out a video on Ethan Klein and his war on women. This is part of his, content Terminator series. I'm not too familiar with Alex's work, but I saw this a while ago, and I don't remember much from it, but I figure, it's a new year. I'm recording this on New Year's Day. It's a new year. I want to get back and doing this content creation. I want to make it fun again. So how do we accomplish all three? We watch a video making fun of Ethan Klein. I think that's fair trade. So let's get into it. Well, again, I remember this being very good, but I don't remember much. So this isn't going to be like a pre-watch, kind of. It technically is the most useless pre-watch because I don't remember anything from it.
Now look at this fucking vile pig. Fucking demon, dude. We need to exterminate him. We don't believe in extermination, but let's just move him somewhere else. All right, we need to get this here in its own neighborhood, with its own kind. It's fantasy.
The culture war is raging on all fronts. Foot soldiers, fresh off the assembly line, strike the hot iron of the battlefield in droves, inoculated with the pounding drums of war.
It's going to war, you know what it is, guys. It's fucking straight up the front lines. I'm going to the front today to fight for the Jewish people.
Trapped in a never-ending battle against anyone brave enough to fight back. The architect of the culture war sits safe and tucked away from the horrors of the front lines, with endless resources and endless rage for the world that he created. But maybe, just maybe, we can turn back the clock. Maybe this time, we can actually stop Judgment Day from happening once and for all. Face the force powering all the hate and shut it down for good. It's the only way to bring about change to the chaos of war. Some people think that change is impossible, and maybe they're right. Because if I know one thing, it's that culture war never changes.
What the fuck? I probably should have assumed because it's literally called Content Terminator, but I must admit this is like pretty good for like a YouTube video, honestly. Like this whole being an intro, like it must take a lot of work just to make this sequence happen.
Let me tell you guys a story.
Ethan Klein can't stop harassing women on the internet.
You know I don't like talking about women's looks.
Yeah, said that one. You don't need to. You don't need to.
It's beneath me.
I mean, he famously does. I literally even back in the day, like, well, something that's not looked on that greatly nowadays was his like commentary on Tana Mojo and like photos that she literally took, and he would like talk about her body. So like anytime Ethan Klein says I don't like to talk about X, Y, and Z, for the most part he does. He just realizes that it doesn't look good to his audience when he brazenly talks about this stuff, so he makes it seem like he actually holds back on these mean comments that he leaves towards people, or these insensitive comments.
Being said, you pig! You loser! It looks like she lives in a swamp. It looks like she hasn't showered, and she is a succubus. You're a fucking piece of shit. You are the biggest fucking... Oh, can I say it? Fuck you. I can call...
It does feel like every single clip I see from Ethan now is him just begging his female employees to allow him to use the B word. Or just being like, please, can I just say it? Can I call her that? Please, can I please say it? Or he has them say it for him. Like he's like, say it, just say it. Call her a B word now.
Call her a bitch. I can call her a horrible person, but I would never do that. I would never say that.
Except you just did.
And no, and I mean that. I only use this harsh language to exemplify the fact that I can say whatever I want about her.
Can I just say that we don't have a clique problem at this school? And some of us shouldn't have to take this workshop because some of us are just victims in the situation?
That's probably true. How many of you have ever felt personally victimized by
Ethan Klein?
Whether he's victimizing himself about anti-Semitism or those dreaded snarkers, Ethan has spent the last 2 years honing his blade of victimhood and using it to strike down—
Oh my god, he literally brought up the sword. Oh, be careful, Alex. Now you're gonna be called a secret Nazi. You know, you're doing a dog whistle right here.
any woman who dares to criticize him.
This insane harassment and defamation campaign that you've been sucked into. And while you are trying to be this fair arbiter of truth and research, you are repeating straight up fucking lies as part of a anti-Semitic hate campaign. And I'm not saying she is yet.
You may.
And you're saying swastika hilt is Shania.
You know how he has like the famous button, the infamous button on his show, which is now being sponsored by Dan Saltman of all people, Destiny co-host Dan Saltman. You know, he really has a button for anti-Semitism. That's what it's really for. You know, it's no longer to trim a couple of minutes from the show while it's on a delay when Ethan says something completely fucked up, because apparently this grown-ass man cannot like think before he speaks at all, just by having a platform for over a decade at this point. It's just the anti-Semitism button now. Anytime he's beefing with someone, or he's launching a hate campaign against someone, it's bing, anti-Semitism. That's the reason why they're bad. It's not because they're accurately depicting what's been going on with me in my downward spiral. It's just because they're anti-Semitic. They just hate Jews because they hate me, and I represent all Jews.
Make me feel uncomfortable. No, you're insane. And what, 3 million people watched that, and nobody who supports him thought that that was a little fucking nuts, a little fucked up to tell that? It's just like, these people don't give a fuck. It makes it's kind of disillusioning where it's like, do these people care about this at all, about anyone?
But that blade of victimhood cuts both ways, as both his YouTube channels are bleeding subscribers. The H3 podcast, Ethan's main channel, has lost almost 400,000 subscribers since January of 2024, making them one of the fastest shrinking communities on the platform.
Let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. The views are down. We'll get them back. These are people that I wanted to shed anyway. Let's be real. I knew what I was doing when I got
Yeah, guys, it was actually a master plan of mine to get rid of a bunch of my subscribers. It's the same thing of like Nicki Minaj recently when she went to like the Turning Point USA event, and after her time there, she put like a picture on her Twitter of like, oh, she's playing chess. Like, oh, I'm playing chess and you guys are playing checkers. That's what it is. No, you're just a loser. Everyone sees you for a loser now. So you have to act like you're not a loser. Like, instead of doing any self-reflection into why people are upset at you and why you are losing any prominence that you had, you're just like, no, it's actually everyone else's fault, not mine.
But the views are down, the members are down, the revenue's down. And
Ethan's coughing. Listen to him. He's like Tiny Tim, man.
Dude.
He's like Tiny Tim over here.
But Ethan Klein will not go down without a fight. When he's not going scorched earth on his former friends and colleagues, Ethan Klein spends his time fighting multiple court battles and rage texting anyone who disagrees with him. I was actually lucky enough to be on the receiving end of some incredibly paranoid Ethan Klein rage texts that I've taken the artistic liberty of bringing to life with a dramatic reenactment.
In this dramatic reenactment, the
Oh
part
my God,
of
I
Ethan
remember this
Klein
part.
will be played by Michael Jackson.
Hope mediation went well yesterday. Let me know if you think today will work better for you or if tomorrow is better. I know you have a show today, so no worries if you need to postpone. I'm around all day today and tomorrow.
Meditation ended up taking like 13 hours.
No worries, we can talk tomorrow.
The next day.
How's today looking for you?
Do you have a problem with Taylor Lorenz infrequently retweeting the account called Ethan's Attic, whose sole purpose is to lambast my declining mental health? Do you think it's okay to target someone's mental health as a partisan attack?
Oh my
I
God.
retweeted him for sharing my video. I'm a small creator. Retweets do not equal endorsements.
Oh, okay.
All my accounts are public. It's not a gotcha that I've interacted with these folks before.
Here is a post that you retweeted. That jacket is fitting because Ethan Klein is now just a locale. Do you think I'm a locale?
I think he has always been kind of this way. So
I mean, he kind of is, in the sense of like, there are people who currently hyperfixate on his declining like state, which he brought on himself. And here's the thing, one could say I'm doing that by watching this video, but again, I try not to talk about Ethan all that much. I'm only really watching this because it was a good video that I just kind of forgot about that I wanted to react to again. But for the most part, like, I don't keep up with what Ethan's doing. I don't necessarily care, what he said on this show, because more than likely he's already said it. I already covered it, so I don't really care. Like, I saw recently there was like drama between him and like there was like some controversy with like AB's dog or whatever. I don't care about that because, like, again, I'm not looking into all that stuff, but there are people who are doing that, who are like looking at everything that's going on with H3 and Ethan through the lens of like, oh, I just don't like them and I just want to find more reasons to shit on them. And it's the same thing with like Chris Chan too. Like, that's why he's such a big prominent name as he is when it comes to like the history of the internet, especially early on, is because people would just watch him and follow his exploits because they just wanted to see him kind of crumble a bit. They just liked watching the shit show. They were kind of, it's like hate watching, but I would say it's like more obsessive based. I don't know, maybe I'm using, maybe that's not a perfect fit when it comes to like lolcow, but like I do think he is at this rate. I don't know his whole history, so I can't say that he's always been one, but like he's made his life a huge part of his content, which I feel like is pretty common when it comes to lolcows in general, is inserting a lot of your personal life into your content.
I've been watching H3 since the beginning. I remember my first article about H3 is in like 2018, I think, is when I first started writing about him in Newsweek. And I've always found his content fascinating, but it's evolved so much over time. He's starting to get more and more paranoid. Ethan Klein has become more siloed off. And I don't think he even leaves the house anymore except to go to the podcast. He's kind of scared of everything. That's why he's like siloed himself off in this $1 million mansion. And I think over time, that problem has only gotten worse.
Ethan Klein is actually in a state of psychosis.
Yeah, I think like the only people again, I don't know what his fucking personal life is, but like it comes off as the only people he really has in his life are the people that are under his employment. Which must be like really sad, but also like not good for your personal health. Just like, oh, the only people who are like the closest people I have in my life are these people whose livelihoods are directly based off their employment to me. Like the closest people I have in life are people who work directly under me. Like, that can never be healthy. Yeah, he has his wife and kids, but as we see, he obsesses a lot over just like people he's feuding with and shit like that. Like, it's just a combination of unhealthy aspects in his life. He really just kind of needs friends, and even then I feel like the only way he's gonna like get any of them back or make new ones is just by denouncing a lot of the stuff that he has done for the last few years, because he has burned so many bridges at this point. There's nobody backing him up publicly except for people who just also don't like Hassan and these people that he is going after.
I think part of it feels maddening. It feels like gaslighting, like crazy making. Like, it's so frustrating to look at all these super woke people and nobody fucking can see what's happening.
Ethan's paranoia has clearly
Yeah, what do you think that says, Ethan? What do you think that says that most people nowadays who are supposedly on your side are on the left no longer ally with you? Well, he would probably say that means that, the left has gone too far. But like, these people that you considered, allies of yours years ago, all of a sudden when it came to this big issue that you have had to kind of go backwards on because you realize what the public's opinion on Palestine is now, because it's changed over the last few years. You can't reckon with the fact that even though you have changed your rhetoric a bit to be more pro-Palestine because you realize how bad being pro-Israel is now, you can't reckon with the fact that the stuff that you have previously said is wrong and is deliberately pro-Israel, and he still is pro-Israel. Doesn't matter how much he tries to say a bunch of buzzwords to make it seem like it. He still hyper focuses on like little instances. Like there was like a wall or something that he's been like going after Hassan for, like, oh, I can't believe you don't know this wall and the significance, but it has nothing to do with the current conflict at all. Like, he's just like hyper focusing on little beats to try to win these little victories that nobody cares about except for him.
Taken his online personality to the point that it's become the fuel for his entire content machine.
She's doing the thing where she's saying this Jew is hallucinating anti-Semitism. He's tricked his audience into thinking there's anti-Semitism, and he's making them paranoid. And it's actually totally fucking insane. Like, this is just straight up Nazi racism. Like, holy fuck.
From Ethan's perspective, everyone is out to get him.
Hit the
But
button
that
again.
also means that everyone is also fair game to be targeted by him.
Listen, if you're gonna talk shit about me, I have a policy. This goes for everybody. I don't give a fuck how small of a creator you are. If you talk shit, you're fair game. If you can't deal with it, then don't make the fucking video. Welcome to online.
Welcome to online. I mean, that should just go to show how much of like a fragile ego you have if you are looking at someone who does not have a big following whatsoever, who like you dwarf in size of numbers even to this day as you are losing subscribers. If you still look at that, it's just like, well, it's fair game. It just goes to show you that you have a fragile ego. Like, why would you care? Like, the person who's obviously like in the wrong is you. But he knows this. He doesn't care. He knows what he's doing regardless of what creator he is going afterwards. He's just hoping to threaten people into silence.
I'm not like all the other bitches that you can shit on and fucking just collect the free views. That's not how I do it, okay?
He's been doing that to a lot of creators for the, like, not even like the recent ones that he's been, going after since October 7th. I mean, just like even before all this, he would relentlessly shit on other creators. He, like, the same thing that he is like, making this claim here of like, oh, I'm gonna go after you regardless of your size. If any of the people that he was talking shit about before, the split, the leftover split, if any of the creators went after him in the same way that he's going after these people, he would be crying. He would do what he did with Ryan Kavanaugh. He would just continue to smear them while still in this legal battle, and then probably have to, do what he did, which is issue a public statement after losing. But like, he would, like, if any of the creators he was going after, like, what was one of them, like Austin McBroom, like, I know he talked about him like back, or like if Trisha Paytas went after him in the same way, he would be throwing a little hissy fit of being like, I can't believe these people are going after me.
Ethan's quite successfully turned the word snarker into a catch-all term for anyone who criticizes him.
Snark needs to start being used as a pejorative. Like, that needs to be a slur. Someone's a snarker, that's like a straight up like racial slur.
But then we don't
not
want to
racial, though.
say it.
Oh my god, it's just like so self-obsessed. Like, if you were to say snark or snarker to anyone in regular life, they would look at you sideways of like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, are you saying like a marker? No, a snarker. What the fuck is that? Nobody knows what a snark is. Could you imagine being a fucking millionaire and caring what people on Reddit are saying? Like, how sad, how chronically online do you have to be where you could just fuck off if you wanted to? You could just leave the internet in total. You could go to your $1 million mansion, never have to get on your phone, never have to look at Twitter, Reddit, any of this stuff. And you still don't. And you still have the behavior of some random ass, like, Asmongold fan who just has nothing in his life except his part-time job and just being a menace online. Like, at least that guy, there's at least some sort of catharticism of being like, well, my life sucks, but at least I can own people online or whatever. I can make fun of, trans people online. It's still wrong, still terrible, but like, you have the money to literally do whatever you want in terms of like entertainment. Like, you could go on vacation, you could, just, do whatever. Like, what could you do with $1 million? Like, there's so many things you could do, and yet you still choose to be chronically online. That's so sad. If I had $1 million, the last thing I would be on is Twitter. I would be on so much other stuff than log into Twitter.
Right. No, you can say it, but it's like, you can say it.
Not if it's a racial slur.
It's genius, really. He doesn't have to address it.
It should be a slur. Therefore, me saying it means we should say slurs. So dumb. He can't think anything through. It's just, he's so reactionary.
You are so dumb. Yeah, this alleged harassment campaign. Thanks to Content Crash Out, the most deranged and also snark subreddit, for giving me all the information I ever needed about Ethan. It didn't invite speculation from anyone out the most deranged snark circles. That's what snark brain is. And that's what he's suffering from. You do not have to...
I guess we're all snarkers because literally everyone sees this. Like, again, there's a big reason why, like, so little people have ran to Ethan Klein's defense than people who also have something to gain from shitting on people like Hassan, Denims, and the like. It's because everyone else sees it for what it is. They see you just crashing out. It's why, like, everyone that you used to collaborate with, you used to be close with, before October 7th, no longer messes with, like, they no longer fuck with you because they see you crashing out. They just don't care. Even fucking Steiny from the Nelk Boys, even he realized how down Ethan was spiraling.
Basically a Hamas spokesperson in the West. I'm not even exaggerating. That's the guy who you're.
I honestly don't watch it. I don't watch
Well, you
streams.
probably should fucking vet people before you have them on your show, because you're platforming someone who is like a virulent anti-Semite.
I hate when you say that, because you literally, when I watch your stories, every single one is that guy. So you're no different. I'm gonna tell you right now.
How am I no different?
Even if you're calling him out on his bullshit, you platform him daily, bro. And by the way,
Platforming is not the same as calling out. Are you
This is getting real.
when
This is too
when
violent
your
right here.
wife said she had to mute me because I post funny stories,
I'm
which you said I
Italian.
was cringe.
That's a whole different thing.
That is a different thing, but I'm just saying, once you showed her my story, she laughed for 5 minutes. It's just funny, like the fake
How
bullshit.
is me calling someone out the same as you having a friendly conversation with
It
them?
wasn't friendly.
It
There were fucking
was
fireworks.
fucking
There was
friendly, bro.
fireworks in
This
there.
is crazy.
There was fireworks.
You know what?
I don't know if they still collab. I don't really care about either. I give no shits about Steiny. But like, even he in the past has pointed out how Ethan is just like obviously not doing well by like doing this shit. And he's a moron. This is the guy who had Benjamin Netanyahu on.
You don't have to suffer from snark brain. We need a hotline. 1-800 brain.
Ethan didn't invent hate mobs, but
Got
he is
him.
an expert on weaponizing his own.
All right, let's go to war, guys. Speaking of which, and like I said, when you see what's going on, I have no choice. I have to do this. I want to get along with the fun and the games and just
No,
have silly.
You could just literally do anything else. Again, there are so many people who I bet even in Ethan's audience, if they had the amount of money that he did, they would not be doing anything like this. They would literally do anything else because that's what you should be doing. Like, I can't get over it. This guy has so much money and he still chooses to act like this. That's so sad. Like, it's like Elon Musk. Elon Musk being one of the richest people, but he still had to buy Twitter because he's just so chronically online. Like, it's that same level of pathetic. It's just that Ethan Klein isn't that rich.
Fun episodes. And listen, we did have some silly, fun, lighthearted episodes this week. I'm glad to offer a variety. However, when this is happening, when the war is coming, listen, I'm like Ukraine. When the war comes to me, I have no choice but to defend myself.
Okay.
I'm being invaded, okay?
Okay.
And ironically, I'm also being invaded by a bunch of fucking commie tankies.
Besides his rabid community of YouTube members, Reddit foot soldiers, and FUPA troopers, Ethan Klein also has a network of commentary orbiters leeching
Well,
on...
just wait until Ethan learns how many Nazis are in the Ukrainian army. Then he's gonna have to change his analogy. He's like, actually, I'm Russia. I'm Russia trying to defeat the Nazis. I gotta change it.
Off of him for drama content.
Nicholas Diorio, my fucking best friend, dude.
Yeah, the
I call him
ultimate rape reviewer, Nick Diorio. Literally, that's what. Like, there's nobody in his audience do they have any sort of like awareness of what's going on? Like, Ethan's current allies include someone who he openly supports. Nicholas Diorio is someone who has a show. He would literally make content of reviewing rape. Like, this guy turned people's sexual assaults into content to make fun of them. And this is who Ethan surrounds himself with.
Holy Saint Nick. I love Nicholas Diorio.
Like, do none of them, especially the ones who are like, oh, like accuse all these people. Like, there was like a recent thing of like them like calling Hassan misogynistic or whatever. Who gives a fuck? I don't care about defending that, whatever. But like, how could you defend this man and be like anti-Hassan and all these other creators for being misogynistic while you defend a man who praises a guy who made content out of other people's assaults? Does that not seem off to you? Or a guy who literally like wore the merch in a friendly manner of a guy he used to have beef with, Keemstar, who is deeply misogynistic? Like, what are we doing here?
I'll say it.
Like, do they have no awareness of being like, well, these are my beliefs? And this guy obviously doesn't believe the same thing because he hangs around people who are like deeply anti all these things.
Watching your content, I think you're very funny guy.
And I feel like your coverage has been really good on topics that I end up watching. Like, you really...
How vague. I think your videos are really good topics. It's like if you ran into like a random content creator, like, you know their name, but you don't want to like seem like you don't, I don't know. It's like an awkward conversation you would just have with a random content creator. It's like, oh yeah, I watched your videos and I think they're really good on things that I watch.
You're good with research.
He's the Pope.
Top slopper and cousin of John Pork, Nicholas Diorio, made over $241,000 in a single year covering the Ethan Klein drama in his classic VTuber slop format.
This is why I respect this guy. He stands on fucking business. That's what he's doing right now. It could have been so...
That's what he sounds like.
So easy to just maintain a friendship with Hassan and just flow through, cashing in the money from these fucking freaks. But instead, he's doing this, and I respect him endlessly for it.
For years, Ethan's content was about goofing. But if you tune into the H3 podcast today, Ethan is just using his show as a platform to destroy his enemies. And who does he choose to destroy? Well, lately, it's almost exclusively women.
Ethan Klein claims he will never be done harassing iDubbbz and his wife, and he said, that's not what I said. And if that is what I said, if I did say that, then you guys still deserve it. And by the way,
I didn't say it, but if I did, then you just deserve it. So you're basically saying it.
You can never accuse me of harassing them after what they did. I can never harass them, no matter what I say.
You know what they did? They just didn't say anything regarding the drama that he was entrenched in until they just finally had enough of Ethan and Hila talking smack about them, and iDubbbz made a video about it. That's what they did. Who fired the first shots here, Ethan? You. They just stayed silent. They didn't bother with it. They were just like, this has nothing to do with us. We're not going to comment on it. We're just going to move on. And you just wouldn't stop talking about them. Again, just this victim mentality of like, oh, everyone's against me. Like, it's everyone else's fault. It can't possibly be mine. I'm going to do no introspection over, how things have gotten this way, where I'm siding with, our word defenders.
No matter what I do, it will never qualify as harassment because what they did that launched this. Fuck them both forever.
If you're afraid that everyone you meet is going to come after you, like, what does that do to a person? It makes you into a perpetual victim. It's always about, I am the, again, I am the victim. I am the one at fault. You are bullying me.
Speaking of Christian, we brought him up earlier. I'm pretty sure this is literally a Sonic medallion. Like in the bottom left. Also, I'm probably gonna speed this up a bit, like to 1.5, because we're like half an hour. I've been recording for like half an hour, and we're only a little bit over 10 minutes into the video. Also put captions
Though
on.
I am bigger, though I am more aggressive, though I speak in hyperbole about how these people are the most awful things on the planet, which again is also kind of part of the Ethan Klein brand, is that everyone else attacking me is okay to attack, but if you attack me, that is considered unacceptable, and my audience should know about that. It is, I can do whatever I want. I feel like I can attack anyone I want, but if I give that same response back, then you deserve no sympathy.
There's certain lines you cross, and you cross it with the wrong people, and that's what you did. Just wait, okay? I can't wait for videos crying, Ethan's suing me, Ethan's stalking me, Ethan's all this. Yup, I'm doing all that. I'll see you soon.
Ethan didn't sue XQC, who he previously accused of being a content thief.
I mean, it's just like, he thinks he's so cool. He really thinks like he's the mastermind, the kingpin, controlling all the pieces. It's like one of the final moments between his debate with Hassan, where he's like, you're the coward and I'm the fucking legend. Like, he practiced that in a mirror beforehand, and he thought he looked so cool. But because he's so like manic, because he's obviously just lost his goddamn mind, he just comes off as psychotic to like anyone who isn't on his side, to any like normal person. Like, unless you're a big Ethan Klein fan and you just have like a massive hate boner for all these people that he's going after, you obviously see him for what he is, just someone who's completely lost the plot.
No, you still are a content thief, in my opinion. Take it back. No, why would I take it back?
Yeah, I literally made a video reacting to this, and like, he had so many good points when it came to his debate with XQC, of like how some people just steal content and don't really add anything to it. And like, he points out in this debate how XQC just never adds anything to the stuff he reacts before putting it on his YouTube. But like, despite the fact that he hasn't changed one bit, it's completely fine for him to react to the content nuke and put it on his YouTube, but not okay for these people that Ethan coincidentally just like has a big problem with because they're anti-him.
No, I just said that wasn't a good analytical point. I still think you're a content thief.
He went for women in the commentary space, smaller creators that he could bury in legal fees and bully into hostage-style apologies.
There's so many people, in my opinion, that owe me an apology that I'm honestly not I'm not complaining about any of the ones I get.
Ethan Klein's long-running struggle with his ingrained misogyny has gotten him into a few controversies over the years. But nowadays, his show has morphed into almost exclusively misogynistic rants about women who have criticized his rhetoric.
Yeah, and I'm not here to criticize anyone's
I'm not either, but like
stuff. But like, if you're gonna get on camera like this, like, how dare you sit there and moralize and theorize?
You cannot comment on how other women look when your wife literally dresses like a 5-year-old, Ethan. Which is also funny when it comes to Cruel World Happy Mind, because with denims too, because he criticized them both for trying to do like what the fuck is the term called? I don't know. It's some like gross shit of like it's when like people dress I don't know. It's like, you know, surrounding yourself with like childish stuff like teddy bears and stuff like that. I forget what the fucking term is called, but he like accused them of that. Of like child baiting. I don't think that's the right term. Of like doing that when Teddy Fresh's entire aesthetic and some of the photo shoots that Hill has done for Teddy Fresh can literally be categorized as the same thing, but like way worse. And I think for Cruel World Happy Mind, they only accused her of doing that because she had like plushies in the background.
Lies and LARP like a fucking mental health professional of any kind. You don't know anything.
I have to admit, I slipped up the other day.
Is.
I called Taylor Lorenz.
I love it. No, but she is.
But I do regret saying that. I don't like using
you
the
have to, but like you reserve it for the special cases.
But yeah, sometimes it really.
As far as other male content creators, I feel like I've come a long way in terms of like not using that word in a misogynistic way, right?
Yeah, I come a long way in not using that word, even though I literally beg my female employees to say it like every episode to people I don't like. And even then, I'll probably still say it.
I almost phase it out entirely. I can call her a bitch, I can call her a horrible person, but I would never do that. Denims is a dumb fucking bitch. She's a fucking bitch.
His band, I couldn't help it the whole time feel like, shut up, bitch! The way that I felt.
Hey, Rock. You know what? Standing up for the Rock. She's right.
Throwback right there. Wow.
She really is. She really is a Nazi B word. Can you call her a Nazi B word for me?
Nazi bitch?
Yeah, thank you. Tamara, do you want to call her a Nazi B word? You're another Jewish woman. I can.
Wait, I don't know if she's there.
Any Jewish women want to call her a Nazi B word?
I don't think she's there.
Oh, she's not there?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'll call my mom.
Among all the women that he spends his time raging about, perhaps no one has been harassed by Ethan Klein more than Taylor Lorenz.
Taylor Lorenz, brief update on my best friend, my favorite girl, Taylor Lorenz. Taylor Lorenz was accusing me of being a misogynist for saying she looks like a ventriloquist dummy. But here she is making fun of my small feet, trying to demasculate me. Yeah, you saw Taylor Lorenz there, eh?
I saw and a bunch of other people.
You said she was looking real sour.
Yeah.
Nobody probably wants to be friends with her because they're afraid she's gonna like write down what they misrepresent, some weird shit, and write an article about them.
She was yucking it up with some people. It looks like she had
more like yucky and it up.
What's Ethan's goal with targeting you, do you think?
I think he hates women in a lot of ways. But I think it's the Hassan thing too. Like, I'm a progressive woman, like in Hassan's like broader internet circle. And I think he's a bigot who doesn't, he doesn't like progressive women.
I've known Taylor personally for many years, and Taylor has always kind of been a target of right-wing harassment campaigns. Taylor responds to these people,
and even sometimes left-wing harassment campaigns because of that. What was that, like a Democrat influencer group that she exposed like a month ago or so? Or like, I think it was a couple months now, like 2, 3 maybe? I'm not sure. Like that whole group that like, I think Olivia Juliana and like, what's the other guy's fucking name? Was it like Brian Cohen? I don't know. I don't really keep track of a lot about like some of the Democratic Party influencers. But like those people that got exposed for like being in an influencer group despite not being public about it. They also tried to like harass her despite the fact that like they could have, tried to go after the article, get it debunked and like, retracted through the legal processes, and they didn't because she wasn't lying.
What they want out of an enemy. They want someone who will keep engaging.
But, that's just the world we live in now. You can't, actually try to, debunk certain points with legitimate evidence. Couldn't go through, like, the actual manners that you're supposed to go through to take misinformation down. You just gotta, like, harass people. You just gotta use your followers to make them believe in lies, to harass people that have, exposed you for who you really are.
We'll keep creating content for them. Ethan keeps going and then Taylor responds, which he has every right to do, but it keeps the content mill running over and over and over. I think,
that's a good point there. Like, yeah, he does have a right to respond to these people. Like, going back to his whole point of like, oh, I don't care what size you are, I'm gonna go after you. Yeah, if someone's talking about you, you have a right to respond to them. But it's the responsibility of realizing the audience that you have compared to the audience that these people who are talking about you have, and whether or not you actually give that any levity. And like having the decency of being like, this person, like if I were to go after them legally, can obviously, not defend themselves, cannot like pay for, they can't like fund the adequate legal counsel to, go into this lawsuit. I mean, because it's not like he wasn't aware of what Casey Tron was going through when it came to her taking care of her parents, because she's been open about that. Like, it's not like he didn't know the financial struggles that she was dealing with, but he did, and he decided to pursue it anyways. And eventually it got to the point where she just wasn't able to, pursue the lawsuit anymore. So she had to, back down, make that statement that she made, which everyone knew automatically was, was something that Ethan definitely wrote up. Like, literally the only people who were defending it in acting as if it was legitimate in any way, like, her statement regarding Ethan Klein and her apology to Asmongold and shit like that, the only people who took it seriously, even in the slightest, were people who were Ethan Klein fans or Asmongold fans. Like, that was the only people. Everyone else saw it for what it was, because it was like very obvious that she just didn't want to do it and was just reading a script.
When it comes to like Ethan's, Ethan definitely, I believe, having spoken to a lot of the women he's gone after, he definitely goes after women a lot. Like, it's undeniable at this point.
Ethan Klein's obsession with Taylor Lorenz runs deep. Between the hundreds of Instagram stories and podcast callouts,
like, the only person he really goes after compared to like the women he goes after, like the only person he goes after as hard compared to like the women that he goes after is Hassan. But honestly, I think that's just because of numbers and the fact that they were co-hosts together. But like people like Matt Lieb, Bad Empanada, Chris Kunzler, like all these other people who also don't like Ethan, never goes after them. In fact, he on record, like, he has said in the past that he does believe that Chris Kunzler is a good source for information regarding Israel and Palestine, and completely ran that back when it came to Chris talking to Cruel World Happy Mind, and deliberately would skip over Chris talking to her during their conversation on Chris's channel, because he realizes that if his audience actually heard anything that Chris had to say, they would realize how in the wrong Ethan was, because he is very well researched in Israel-Palestine.
It's clear that Ethan Klein is using his platform to try to destroy Taylor's professional reputation.
Taylor, you are a propagandist scumbag. This is not reporting. This is hackery. Oh, Taylor. Oh, shit. Taylor, okay, I wasn't prepared for this.
Thanks so much for chatting with me.
I'll be totally honest with you. I don't respect your reporting.
Yeah,
I don't think you're honest.
Believe actual journalism.
Is that you?
Thanks so much for chatting with me.
Taylor, not if you're a hack. Not if you're a hack. Yep. Taylor, not if you will support Hassan until the very end, no matter what, with the small hope that that if you're the last woman on earth, maybe he'll sleep with you. Not if that's all true. Go ahead.
And he wonders why people call him misogynistic. Like, you're reducing this woman's belief in what you are doing is wrong and your behavior being weird to, oh, she just wants to sleep with Hassan.
Go ahead. Not that.
It's like saying that any of the female employees that he has on his podcast are only saying the things that they're saying and are only siding with Ethan because they want to sleep with Ethan. Literally nobody is saying that. But it's so wild, the group of people that try to make one side seem misogynistic and Ethan's not, apparently. Like, that's just insane.
Yeah, I knew it. But she's so mad. And I just can't get over the fact that, like, Taylor Lorenz keeps lecturing our community, which is majority female, on how much I'm dangerous to women.
Guess what? I have bad news for you, Alex. Women are deeply misogynistic. This is what I'm talking about. What do you think snark Reddits are? Snark subreddits are the picture of misogyny on the internet. I don't know where people got the idea that women don't uphold misogyny. He's a misogynist, first of all.
Yeah.
Everything he says misogynistic stuff all the time. He's deeply misogynistic and appears to have look at all the stuff that he said about young women. He just traffics in misogynistic hate, and that feeds these snark communities, because Ethan is actually has a very symbiotic relationship with the snark communities.
It's like, I mean, it's almost, it's like saying that like yeah, women, there are women out there. There are plenty of them who uphold the misogyn. Like, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't be misogynistic. That's just insane. Like, it's a mindset. It isn't like a part of your DNA to be misogynistic or not. Like, it's something that everyone can be. So just assuming that because you have a majority, first of all, you don't even have that big of an audience anymore, but claiming that because a majority of your audience is women, that doesn't make you misogynistic is so fucking funny. Because like, people aren't claiming that you're being misogynistic because they think your audience is mostly male. They think you're misogynistic because they hear what you're saying. It doesn't matter what your community is made out of. If the things that you are saying are prejudiced towards one group or another, people are going to assume that you're prejudiced towards one group or another. It's like saying the N-word. I mean, the N-word's worse than the B word by 1,000 times. Let's be honest. Come on. It's like saying that and then people calling you racist and being like, I can't be racist. I have a mostly black audience. Like, there are black people who uphold, racism in a way. Like, there are.
Recognize that the snarkers on the internet, these again, which I've reported on for years, they are vicious, misogynistic, and hateful. And he
There are
loves
plenty
to
of
leverage.
people of color who uphold racism, whether it's towards their own groups or others, like other marginalized groups. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like racism, like all this, like bigotry is not like a part of your DNA. Like, it's a mindset that anybody can adopt.
Those people against the women that he targets.
Great source there, girlie. You fucking dumbass. Fuck you.
The HD podcast.
Actually, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Fuck you.
After releasing a video about Ethan Klein on her own YouTube channel, YouTuber Cruel World Happy Mind was invited on the H3 podcast for what she thought would be a good faith conversation. Little did she know, Ethan and his whole crew had prepared an entire docket of debate-style questions for her.
First of all, thanks for calling. Nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah.
I appreciate it a lot. So what I want to do today is talk through it, right? I can express myself, you can express yourself, and we'll see if there's any understandings brought. I'm gonna try my best to be respectful, and I want to have a productive conversation, right? So that's my goal here. Do you know what happened on October 7th?
We were living it still because my family lives there.
Do you think Hamas was? Do you think Hamas are terrorists?
Do you think I'm dressed like a pedophile? I don't understand. What is your point?
Seeing, your past Reddit accounts, seeing the sort of jokes that you continually make about pedophilia, seeing all of that, and your closeness with the brand, I was kind of like essentially, that association.
Do I make a lot of jokes about pedophilia? I mean, I acknowledge I had that old account that's like 15 years old and stuff. But do I make jokes about pedophilia? I don't think so. That's not like a frequent topic. I mean, I talk about Michael Jackson. That's true. Michael Jackson, I make Michael Jackson jokes.
What do you think about people who make jokes about Michael? I think it's cruel. I think it's cruel because I think also it's cruel to do that to somebody who's passed away. So it's, the fact that he's been attacked after death is just such a sad thing. What do you think Michael would have thought about you?
Michael Jackson isn't looking too good now from recent photos that have popped up. So this has probably been the only part of the video that hasn't aged well in the new year.
Ready to get started whenever you are, so.
No, I'm not done yet.
Yeah, it has his old routine. You gotta let him do it.
We only got like 30 minutes, so whenever you're ready.
Will you do the moonwalk with me?
I'll try.
Okay. And then we can get started.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna go up on the right toe. You slide the left back. It's not bad, actually. Tell me, why did you share this post from Froggy Tonic encouraging people to insult me in real life? Sorry, I mean, who has? Not that you shared a post of him doing this. Do you think I deserve violence in some physical response?
Again, dude, I've been covering the story and chatting with the individuals involved. How would you suggest I go about getting these people to speak frankly about the situation? I don't think you deserve violence or anguish for internet drama, but you realize I'm also Jewish and have faced anti-Semitism online before, right?
I did not know you were Jewish. I'm sorry. Condolences.
Condolences. Again, it's only serious when it's Ethan being faced with all this, trouble. It's only a big deal then, but when you say, hey, I've also faced anti-Semitism in, my online life, then it's condolences. He's so weird. Why does he talk like this?
I should have been smarter going about it. If I was told hey, we're sitting down for a debate, I would have maybe gone about it differently, but it was hey.
Yeah, I only saw pieces of their talk because I saw Chris Kunzler talk about it. I watched his video on it, and it felt like they definitely just kind of lured her in there under the aspects of hey, we just want to talk to you, only for them to then turn around and just berate her with a 2-on-1.
Hey, we're gonna have a conversation here. Let's have a kind conversation, and then it's rephrased as this is a debate.
But the live ambush from Ethan was just the beginning of the harassment towards Cruel World Happy Mind. She and her partner began to receive tons of threatening messages from riled up H3 fans.
My husband got one of the most intense messages that we got sent, where someone sent him a message saying that they're gonna show up at our house, break my jaw, or they called us a Nazi, our Nazi family. They were gonna show up at our house, break my jaw, break my child's jaw, and that, and I forget what else they said, but that was the gist of the message. And so Ethan had sent me a message after he did that whole podcast and said that I should come back on his show, that he wants me to come back on his show. And so the only thing I responded is just sending him this screenshot, because I was curious, and then someone just said they're gonna show up at our house and break our jaws. What are you gonna say? And all he responds is that's just a snarker.
From a snarker. I don't check my DMs, but I imagine it's full of your fans calling me a pedophile. If you really want to play the victim or hate mail, my fans don't send messages like that. Jesus Christ. And she reveals it was sent after the recent podcast about her. So it's obvious with the timing of that where that person probably came of. Now, is there any certified proof that that's an H3 fan? I don't know. But weird coincidence. And also immediately going into this, of being like, well, your fans have probably called me a pedophile. First of all, there's a difference between, hey, I'm calling you something and making a threat. There's a difference. And then also trying to make a game out of like who has the worst hate mail. If you really want to play the victim of hate mail, well, I've been called worse. It's so Jesus Christ. Like, he's such an awful person. Jesus, like how, again, it just goes around to the self-centered nature that Ethan Klein has adopted, or maybe has always had within him. Because again, I'm not a long-term fan of Ethan. I started following him probably like a year or two before the Leftovers split, and even then I still watched him every now and again, because there was a period of time where he just wasn't talking a bit about it as much. Like, he kind of like took a break from it, but then like as soon as I started feeling comfortable watching him again, he immediately went back into it, and I was just like, I'm not going to support this anymore. But before that, I was like a solid fan for like a year or two. I don't remember exactly. I think it was actually two years, because I remember watching him like in 2021, probably late 2020. But like, I don't know his like long-term history online, but it's like this type of behavior just doesn't come out of nowhere. It has to start somewhere. Like, it's not just this, I don't know, like, people can change very drastically, in all fairness, but like, I don't know where this like started, but honestly, I don't care. It doesn't matter at this point.
That's not our audience. That's a snarker. That's not our audience. And then he says, you're victimizing yourself.
By the way, my community doesn't harass people.
That's not true. Let me explain to you
absolutely, provably,
do you want
true.
to hear my perspective, or do you want to fucking just keep playing clips that your production team put together?
Ethan's not even really.
Yeah, my community doesn't harass people. Completely ignore the fact that everyone that I have been going after has been ruthlessly harassed nonstop. And no, that's just complete coincidence. That's other people. That's your own fans. As a matter of fact, that's the snarkers.
A commentator anymore. He's a CEO, a capital owner, and his product is drama.
I really miss the time when we could produce fun segments without having to sensationalize or clickbait it and just upload it, knowing people were going to enjoy it. I think the only way they'll push it is if it's like hyper specified to you, which is why super specific like drama stuff tends to do the best.
Ethan has long said that he models the H3 podcast after the Howard Stern show. But Ethan's ignoring a big difference here. Howard Stern had bosses. Howard Stern had limits set by people that were above him. Ethan Klein answers to no one, and that's part of the problem.
How the fuck are you supposed to grow a business and, you know, participate in this space? I feel like serial rapists and murderers get treated the same way.
Like I know people that worked on somebody like James Charles' shoot, and they're treating me the same way.
When you have no guardrails, no one to tell you, hey, maybe don't rage text that guy, or maybe suing that small creator is a bad look, you end up here, isolated in a mansion, surrounded by yes men, and convinced the whole world is out to get you while you bleed subscribers by the hundreds of thousands.
I don't talk about this because it's painful and I don't want people to know. But I'll say, I mean, it's from a professional perspective, our entire lives are ruined. Collaborations, partners, business partners, employees, creators, friends. Brittany Broski just completely stopped responding to me. Brittany Broski. Look, I don't blame.
And it can't possibly be my fault. Everyone is saying that I'm in the wrong, but it can't possibly be the reason why my professional life is falling apart. It must be everyone else's. Like, again, no introspection, nothing. Just, I'm clearly in the right because I'm a good special little boy.
If she doesn't want to get involved in. I've seen what this harassment looks like, and I've seen what she received for basically doing nothing, right? So I don't blame her for wanting to not be involved in that, but...
I mean, with the Brittany Broski thing, the reason why people were going after her due to her silence on Palestine is because she made a big part of her commentary being that people, fellow content creators should speak up about these issues, about these like big issues. Like, they shouldn't just stay silent on these sort of issues. They should like let their opinion be known. And then she didn't say anything about like the biggest thing that was happening in the world that is still going on today, until she was essentially forced to, because she was being hypocritical in that sense. And I mean, everyone's hypocritical now and again, but like when you the worst thing you can be online is a hypocrite, because like literally everything you put out can be viewed again. The internet is forever, or whatever they say. But like, even then, that didn't kill her career. She still has a good career nowadays. Like, obviously you can always come back from this sort of stuff. It's just like how you carry yourself moving on when you make these mistakes, when you make these errors in judgment. And Ethan has shown that he does not know how to handle it well.
It doesn't feel fucking good knowing that somebody that I was friends with in real life, that I had rapport with, that I hung out with, that I talked to about, making a show together at one point, that we were in like regular contact, just like all of a sudden fucking quietly unfollows me and everything H3 related. Like, sure, I don't blame her. I'm not angry at her, but like at the same time, what the fuck did I do? Of course I don't blame her. These people are the worst,
But we'll get him, guys. We'll get him. You know me. I'll ruin my fucking life in the pursuit of getting these people.
Ethan Klein is involved in a number of frivolous lawsuits right now.
I don't think he was joking there. I literally do believe that Ethan Klein would be willing to lose everything in his life just to make them do a same apology as Casey Tron was forced to do. Like, I'm not even kidding. I think this man would literally, like, be willing to lose, like, the custody of his children. Like, he would be willing to divorce Hila and lose custody to his children if it meant that Hassan had to say, my bad, I was wrong. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think that's how big of an ego this guy's got. And hopefully I'm wrong. Like, here's the thing, I don't want this stuff to be happening to Ethan. Ethan is a big reason as to, like, why I actually, like, took steps in becoming a content creator. In all honesty, I really liked his content when I was a fan of his. It was, like, him, Hassan, it was leftovers in general that made me want to, like, do this stuff. It sucks. I don't like doing this. I don't like the man he's become, but, like, it's just, I don't want to say there's no coming back from this. Because I hope there is. I hope one day he wakes up and realizes, like, I was in the wrong and I have a lot of amends to make. But it's going to be a long time until that even happens, and he still has a long journey to go after that. Like, I don't want to see him, like, on the street because, like, he lost all of his money developing it into these frivolous lawsuits. But, like, with where his numbers are going, with how much he's attacking people, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. Maybe that's too far. I don't think he's going to go that far, maybe. You know, maybe he'll have, like, a red line that he won't cross. Unlike Israel, where he'll be like, if I have this much money left, I gotta stop because I just don't have the money anymore to pursue these lawsuits. Unlike Israel, Ethan might actually have a red line on where he's going to stop, but we haven't seen it yet.
That he claims are due to infringements on his copyright.
I've really resented this narrative from Hassan and all these people in orbit who say their lawsuits are frivolous. When you spend a second to look into it, it's clearly not frivolous. And they keep rehashing the same dumb arguments like, oh, if it wasn't frivolous, why aren't you suing Asmongold? Dude, I said it in the video. I said it a million times over every time. It's because they willfully and maliciously copyright infringe.
Yeah.
In actuality, Ethan's lawsuits are a tool to scare and silence his critics. A tactic that Ethan Klein learned the hard way after being scared and silenced himself by film industry mogul and former Harvey Weinstein lookalike Ryan Kavanaugh.
Ryan Kavanaugh was probably one of the last, real powerful men that he went after. Look what happened with that. Casey Tron had to do a similar form of public humiliation that he did with the Ryan Kavanaugh lawsuit.
To Ryan Kavanaugh, I want to offer my sincere and unreserved apology. At the time, I was led to believe you were behind a particular copyright lawsuit. Acting on that belief, I went on and attacked you publicly and persistently. In doing so, I failed to consider the personal impact of my actions. And I lost sight of the basic respect every person deserves, regardless of any dispute. That hit its home. Because of the attention I placed on you, I know that you and your family became the target of harassment and hate. And truly, none of them deserve any of that. The hurt that, was caused by my actions is something I take full responsibility for, and I am truly sorry for that. With this apology and with full respect, I ask that anybody who may have been acting on my behalf directly or indirectly stop immediately. Ryan and his family and his associates should be left alone now for good.
Ethan spent what some call the best years of the H3 podcast fighting.
Yeah, my fan base doesn't harass people, but they definitely harass this one guy. And I'm telling them to stop right now because I lost. It's just so fucking insane.
A legal battle against Ryan Kavanaugh over what was initially a copyright infringement lawsuit that then spiraled into multiple defamation cases.
I'm just going to type Ryan Kavanaugh, and I'm not going to, but I'll say this. He does resemble Harvey Weinstein physically, and that's all I'll say about that. If you Google Ryan Kavanaugh, you'll probably find on the
Does Ryan Kavanaugh look like HarveyWeinstein.com? What the fuck?
You know that's my website, right?
That's so stupid.
We made that website to help the public.
5 months ago, those lawsuits finally settled with Ethan on the considerable
good times.
Losing it, having to deliver a public apology to Ryan Kavanaugh on his podcast, as well as censor all of the previous mentions of him on his show.
Watching old, leftovers clips does feel like a punch in the gut sometimes. Because, it was just a fun time overall until Ethan got very weird. It wasn't even October 7th, which made the podcast bad to watch. It was when Ethan was so hyper fixated on debating the differences, what's better, a social democracy or socialism? And I think it was right before October 7th too, where he was just really trying to talk about that with Hassan, of being well, why can't we just be a social democracy? Why is socialism better? And he just wouldn't budge on being no, I just think social democracy is better because it's because he's a capitalist and he likes being a capitalist. That's why. But I remember it wasn't horrendously bad of being oh, Ethan, I'm not a fan of your, it's not that, it was just boring. That was the problem. I remember watching those episodes when they came out and I was just why is he still on this? Who cares? I literally would just stop watching and just put on something else because I was this just sucks. It's not that I don't find these sort of debates productive and like educating people, all that. I mean, it's just like who cares? Like the reason why people were watching the show was not to like see these debates. It was like so these two guys could just shit on right wingers and have fun with it. And then he just made it not fun by trying to like make it a debate of stuff that he clearly had no understanding over. He just didn't want to. He just didn't want to associate himself with socialism because he wants to be a capitalist. Which I mean, hey, guess what? You still are one. So who cares?
Using Ryan Kavanaugh, the guy who's suing me from Triller, of sexual impropriety. I just think they look similar. That's all. Just to make that clear.
Having to remove the best years of your videos and apologize to someone who financially wrecked you for what's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars has to inflict some form of psychological trauma and damage on you. But for Ethan, settling with Ryan Kavanaugh was just a necessary evil so he could pursue his righteous cause of suing women who reacted to his YouTube video.
The whole point of these lawsuits for me has been activism from the start. That's the primary purpose of this. And so when I hear that she's kind of learned how to be more mindful with the way she interacts with copyrighted or other people's property, then I think that's a big win for both of us. I think that's a huge dub. If you have a problem with what I'm saying, talk about that. Also, why are you literally lying and defaming the dude who's like suing everybody talking shit right now? Like, people are not learning. They will not learn. They don't believe me still or something. I'm suing 3 people. This is not the end of it.
One of his lawsuits against Casey Tron just settled and ended with Casey Tron delivering a somber public apology. Gee, I wonder where they learned that trick.
I want to begin by stating I take responsibility for infringing the content nuke. The lawsuit was not frivolous. When I said the lawsuit was frivolous and based on misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins.
You know what? I should just let it play for you guys, right? And we can go back and enjoy certain moments of it. Or I mean, not enjoy, because certainly that's not the right word to say, but to appreciate.
Casey Tron on multiple occasions.
Jesus Christ. Like, again, I can't understand why anyone would be a fan of his. And like, I mean, I can, because like the internet fucking sucks and people are terrible human beings who I hope get better. But like, Jesus Christ, like how can you even like try to defend this guy who's like so brazen in his actions of like, I'm just doing this because I just want to see these people grovel underneath me because I have such a because I have such a fragile ego. How does anyone with like a basic sense of empathy not look at this guy and obviously see that he is getting off on like this apology of like this one little victory where he essentially bullied a woman, taking care of her parents, and just like getting so like and forcing her to release this public apology? Like, how can you defend this? And it's so obvious that she's being forced to say it.
That she felt that she couldn't afford to do it because she is taking care of, multiple family members who cannot work. And Ethan Klein doing that, knowing that situation, and instead forcing her to release some sort of hostage-style apology, just kind of makes the whole situation look incredibly, gross.
It's clear that Ethan's goal here is not to establish some kind of new precedent for copyright law. It's just to inflict the same trauma and public embarrassment that he received from Ryan Kavanaugh onto his own enemies, who are, again, mostly women creators who have smaller subscriber counts than him.
Ethan has kind of used that, these women did this, copyright.
He literally even threatened to sue Shonda Black unless like Taylor Lorenz did something or said something. That's how you can tell they're not frivolous when they're situational lawsuits, essentially.
In his mind as kind of like a way to shoo off any of the criticisms of misogyny.
To the lawsuit stuff. Now,
also, if he cared this much about like defamation and stuff like that, if he cared about like really going after these people for spreading misinformation about them, why doesn't he go after Hassan? He has a bigger audience. More people are going to listen to what he has to say about you. Don't you think that would be a better target? Don't you think that would be way more effective in making sure that a lot of these people that you claim are like under his control or whatever, or only are saying these things against you because they wanted to suck him off or whatever? Don't you think that would be a more effective target? Or maybe he realizes that if he was to do that, then he would have to spend a lot of money, because it's not like Hassan is a smaller creator than him. It's not like Hassan doesn't have a lot of money himself to spend on a lawsuit like this. It's almost like he realizes that he couldn't just, trap Hassan in a legal process where he's just going to have to give a large amount of his income to this, to the point where he is going to have to, settle.
People are scrambling to draw defense up for the indefensible. There is basically 3 people making the most damning confessions on video. There's no way to honestly defend these people. But I predicted what would happen, and of course, it's exactly what's happening. The refrains are attacking women, attacking small creators, silencing
Pro-Palestine
silencing
voices.
criticism, targeting pro-Palestine voices, etc., etc.
Ethan's audience also knows that he's going through some kind of extended crash out because they try to inflict the same trauma and psychic damage onto whoever Ethan tells them is the enemy of the weak. What Ethan's audience doesn't fully understand when trying to do this type of harassment is that by trying to give the snarkers a taste of their own medicine, they become addicted to the formula of gaslighting and public harassment, just like the snark communities do.
Harassment podcast.
Yeah, that's what the H stands for.
Again, there's another snarking talking point.
Sounds like such a Karen.
People outside of the snarking community don't use certain lines of attack. Like calling our podcast a harassing, what do you call it?
Harassment podcast.
A harassment podcast. It's nobody outside Snark says that. It's just an insanely dumb, totally random attack line that is just totally imagined in their psychotic world.
Snark is a made-up concept by Ethan Klein to weaponize his audience against people he disagrees with. I don't care what influencer you are. There is an audience of people who hate you. You know, every influencer has a snark community, if you feel that snark is a valid term. We exist in an online space that thrives on negativity. And I think Ethan Klein's packaging of snark has been incredibly lucrative for him.
This type of information warfare is a dime a dozen on the internet these days. Almost every online figure has a snark community in their name. But for some reason,
it does act a lot like the, you know, anti-woke, cancel culture, you know, culture war right-wingers online, like Tim Pool. Like he's acting a lot like Tim Pool nowadays, of being like, oh, these people are trying to come after me, they're trying to cancel me, but we need to fight back against them, we need to, you know, stop the woke, whatever. Like, he acts a lot like right-wingers nowadays. That's why a lot of people consider him like a more conservative voice nowadays, because like, look at the people that he surrounds himself with. Look at the people who are like in his proximity when it comes to like his side of the internet. It's Asmongold, it's XQC, it's all these people. Like, he acts like a anti-cancel culture, anti-woke, you know, culture war figure. That's it. Like, it's just like, imagine that, like that sort of content creator, but just replace woke with snark, and it's literally this exact same commentary. Like, oh, the snark, they're coming after you, the snark heads, they're trying to infect you with snark.
Then claims that his snark community is the most dangerous.
I mean, how extreme do I need to get these people's attention? I just don't understand. Because at a certain point, I personally, as a parent and as a person, I can't just sit idly by and let these people continue doing what they're doing.
For that reason, he's spending even more of his hard-earned YouTube and Teddy Fresh money trying to subpoena Reddit and Discord to dox.
Yeah, as a parent, I can't allow these people to continue what they're doing, but as a parent, I can also not spend time with my kids and just upload 1,000 Instagram stories a day.
The individuals behind the snark accounts.
Y'all thought I was playing games? I'm coming. Y'all thought, oh, Ethan's not gonna get our info. Oh, look at Ethan, he's not this and that. Oh, Reddit's not gonna give. Oh, they're not gonna give us up. You're done. You're cooked. I'm coming. All I need is your IP address.
And so ultimately, they will have a charge of copyright infringement filed against them.
That's correct.
That's the idea.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
The charge is specifically inducement of copyright. I don't know. There's some specific
inducement.
There's some specific terminology for it. But then also, because some of your cohorts leaked your Discord messages to us, we have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have all your messages. Discord. And listen, don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not gonna look good. And you should know that I'll still get them even if you erase them.
I'm sympathetic to anybody that's going through.
You think there's a new low beyond going after just smaller creators, but then he's literally just like, oh, random people on Reddit and Discord, I'm going after you. Like, in the same way that Ethan Klein set a standard for fair use online, if any of this actually goes through, he will set the standard in a time where privacy online is already getting worse, where like so many websites, when they collect your data, they want to, you know, get your ID and shit like that. Like, the censorship online, Ethan is going to participate in only making it worse if that actually does go through. While anonymity online can be annoying because, you know, people saying stupid shit online, knowing that nobody's going to discover it's them because they can just hide behind a username and a profile, who cares? But it is better than having like literally everyone's public info out there for the world, especially with like how crazy people are getting, with how like, if you are a female online and you have even a small amount of a following, you probably already have a stalker. Now imagine if you're someone who has said stuff regarding a man who has a very hyperactive, a very dedicated fan base that is known for harassing people, and you don't have the eyes on you, you don't have like another fan base to like, you don't have the notoriety for people to pay attention to you when you're also getting harassed. Like, you're just a normal person, you work a 9 to 5, and you don't have like the money to get a security guard to prevent people from like harassing and stalking you. But now, because of this one guy, you're info's out there, people know who you are, and now they're going to go after you. And it's not like Ethan is going to refrain himself from, bringing regular people who have made comments about him online. Like, there was that one guy who made a post on Hila's post after she got a Star David tattoo, where he literally just aired out this, like, random dude. Like, literally, this guy has no following. He's just some random guy. And he just brought up his Instagram profile and just, like, started talking about his mom and his personal life and shit. Like, this crazy shit.
There's such, like, that tells me rather that they're going through harassment, because I have dealt with so much of that. And so I was like, well, I'll try to help them. They were making a lot of claims about Reddit at the time too, and snark subreddits, and that's something I've reported on a lot. I reached out to Reddit and I was like, hey, can you look into this? Like, they're making all these claims that they're being doxxed, and the CPS people are calling their, from Reddit and everything. Reddit looked into it. They were like, not only did we not find that, but like his community is actually being problematic and abusive.
When it comes to Ethan Klein's crash outs, they are being milked for content. It's all about how much can you engage with, and how much can you milk a lolcow? And Ethan Klein has proven that, like, he just wants the content. He's milking himself at this point. There's no doubt in my mind that this is just like where he expects this to go and what he wants out of his YouTube experience.
Now, if you don't watch my channel a lot, you wouldn't know this, but I was actually involved in a pretty public lawsuit as well. All that to say, I know how to read these legal papers, and I've done it a couple times. And while Ethan's attorney may be very talented and charge him a lot of money, these subpoenas read like the incredibly deranged ramblings of someone wealthy enough to try to litigate public opinion on the internet. And that doesn't mean that the courts won't take it seriously. I mean, this is America, a country that was founded on frivolous lawsuits from the rich.
Tonight, you are saying to our viewers that you will go forward and file a defamation lawsuit against the BBC.
Well, I think I have an obligation to do it. I guess I have to. Why not? Because,
like, at what point do you, like, take a step back and be like, hey, me and Trump actually have a lot of similarities of, like, trying to sue people who say correct but mean things about us? Like, at what point are you going to take, like, a step back and be like, maybe I'm not going at this the right way? Again, it's why people, like, put Ethan in, like, a right-wing sort of category when it comes to content creators online now, even though he has, some left-leaning views, at least when it comes to, like, the LGBT and stuff like that. But, like, it's because of your behavior. It's because the way that you behave is very similar to a lot of right-wing figures online, and even the president of the United States, unfortunately.
They defrauded the public.
Well, listen up, mods, haters, snarkers. It's going to start settling. These people still think this is a joke. All the snarkers and all the people, they keep coping hard about how, Ethan's delusional, his lawyer's an idiot, this is all whatever. And it's going to start dawning on you. This should be the first peek at what's coming. And what's coming is the full fucking weight of Lady Justice's big, fat, swinging titties.
But Ethan's not just pulling a Donald Trump here. He's taking a page out of the book of a very important attorney.
So I'm really anxiously looking forward.
As misogynistic as Ethan is, I honestly thought he was going to say, like, oh, her big sword, like the sword that she carries. Oh, whatever. Who cares? Is that, like, there's... Yeah.
Or to an opportunity to depose CNN. This will be the first time this has ever happened.
Probably be more
and
fitting.
I think CNN
Just
is probably
saying.
quaking in their boots. We have demanded that they not destroy any documents, any memos. We want to get the editors who told them to edit the tape. We want to get the commentators.
And look, I know in my last video I said that Destiny was like Alan Dershowitz because they both love teenage girls in the state of Israel. Well, for Ethan Klein, he's like Dershowitz because they both love to sue people as a pastime. Oh, and because they both love Israel still. We can keep the Israel thing up there. What do you think, like, Michael thinks about, like, frivolous lawsuits?
I think that Michael, he would believe that everybody's entitled to, be able to have a lawsuit, and I think he believed in the law and everything. But that's why he had he fought for his innocence.
Yeah.
You understand two-party consent laws, right?
New York City is single-party consent.
I only say that because I told you the conversation was private and you agreed.
Not sure a court would see my messages as me agreeing with you, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Oh, my bad. I thought New York City, like California, was two-party.
Nope, here's a link to the law.
This is not me threatening to sue you. I won't. More so just expressing my disappointment that you would agree to have a private conversation and then publish it. I was polite and respectful the entire time, my friend.
Dog, you straight up were not. You accused me of being a snarker over retweets of people promoting my content when I was just asking you for comment about my interview with Taylor.
But Alex, you started your last video with you shooting me with a pistol. I hardly think that's appropriate in this political climate.
It's clearly a Terminator issue T-1000 liquid metal disguising itself as you to make a metaphor for warring online community.
I saw someone with a gun shooting at me. You think that's okay considering the rise of political assassination?
I just want to, like, take a step back to, like, earlier, like, the beginning part of this video. How do you think anyone would take that as being like, oh, I should kill Ethan? You think that's okay considering the rise of political assassinations?
Well, you're not going to like the new video either then. I've got a whole factory of T-1000 Ethan.
Please do not include imagery of me being shot.
I would never and have never done that.
LOL, the point is that you shot me. I can't tell if you're serious.
I already told you, I shot the T1000 Liquid Metal Edition. That's not you. But I know it looks similar considering the T1000 can disguise itself as anyone and anything. Have you seen Terminator 2 Judgment Day? It's a great film. Also, like Dershowitz, Ethan uses accusations of anti-Semitism as a shield from criticism.
I'm gonna sue you if I can. And I feel like there's a lot of ground to it. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So fuck you. Like literally fuck you. How dare you?
By the way, didn't he drop a nuke on Hassan? During the content nuke, like that was the beginning part, right? Like he drops a nuke on it. Like, wouldn't that be sending a message that, oh, people should bomb Hassan?
You go regurgitate all this shit in the most hateful,
So stupid.
anti-Semitic, obsessive fucking freak way, and then to sit here and pretend like you're unbiased. Fuck you.
So using anti-Semitism as like a protection has kind of always bothered me. Like Jews in general who use anti-Semitism to dodge criticism is something that like grosses me out because anti-Semitism is a real thing. I have had pennies thrown at my head. I've been punched in my head for wearing a yarmulke. Like, I have dealt with actual anti-Semitic attacks. So claiming that me thinking that Ethan Klein, his video, the Casey Tron video is, it's kind of, upsetting and it feels like the lawsuit was kind of just, this was the goal. That's not anti-Semitic. Using anti-Semitism as a crutch is just something that makes me feel icky. And Ethan Klein has definitely used that as a way to kind of like push away criticism.
Ethan has even gone as far as partnering with radical Zionist Dan Saltman on a long-term sponsorship for the H3 podcast.
And that's where the relationship with money kind of comes in, is that Dan Saltman pays for this sort of stuff and allows him also to, again, be kind of introduced to H3's community as part of the brand. The weirdest part of the brand where Ethan says horrible things and needs to cut out before they're live.
You guys may have noticed we got a button sponsor. Look at that. Oh wait, my glasses. Redact.dev, guys. They are our button sponsor. Basically, they've got a pre-roll. Whenever I hit the button, you'll see some Redact stuff now. It's a dream partnership.
It just makes sense.
People like to call me like an ultra-Zionist, genocidal maniac. And in my mind, I think the Jews should have gotten half of Germany. I think that would have been the fair thing to have in that situation. So it's just, but these people for their entire life have been told that Jews are evil and that they want to destroy you. And if you kill one of them, you're gonna I don't know all the religious terms, but it's crazy. And to combat that level of indoctrination, there has to be a massive influx of resources into that area. There needs to be a McDonald's on every corner, and everyone there needs to be driving a Ferrari. And I know it sounds stupid, but it's only at that point that these people are that the residents of Gaza and the West Bank are going to be like, maybe let's focus on something besides killing Jews, because life right now is pretty awesome.
Funny enough, when I spoke with him, Dan Saltman also offered me a weird sponsorship with his terrible company.
If you ever feel like pushing it, let me know. And we have an affiliate program that I can get you in. Essentially, if you for a lot.
Like, it's so funny being like, oh, I'm trying to combat these people who say that Israelis are just bloodthirsty murderers who just want to see all of Gaza flattened, which they are, but also, the people in Gaza won't be happy until they kill every Jew. Like, do you not understand the irony of what you're saying? Like, you are the person who is indoctrinated in this Zionist mind frame. But yeah, it is. I do remember this part where he desperately tries to get him sponsored.
For a lot of content, I think it makes sense. A lot of content creators
not on this video, because I don't want to sing any bad people back towards you, but we'll talk about it. Sure.
Yeah, but maybe in the future. But yeah, like if you're dealing, it sounds like you do stuff like, this is what this guy said in the past. That's like always the perfect segue into like, don't want to be the next subject of my video, use redact.dev and make sure you clean up all of your DMs on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, etc. So, but let me know. No rush.
Aside from business, Dan Saltman and Ethan Klein also share an extreme hatred for Hassan.
Please let me sponsor your videos.
Hiker, and a vested interest in getting him deplatformed from the streaming platform Twitch.
Twitch continues to allow him to spread terrorist propaganda with impunity, without even seemingly a warning. Just a full-on endorsement of this terrorist organization right here on Twitch. Now, I don't know if you remember, but basically this is what caused the apocalypse on YouTube, is that ads were showing up next to ISIS videos.
Ethan Klein's obsession with Hassan Piker was the first thing that started his decline in views and subscribers. His casual viewers lost interest and moved on to other things, while his core audience became more loyal and radicalized.
Our audience was extremely supportive and kind.
Yeah.
And again, so grateful, despite everything we've been through, to still have like a significant core audience that supports us, that knows who we are, right?
I mean, I would make the argument that a lot of his core audience are still people who are very new to his content. Like, they're more or less just like, people who already had a strong hatred for Hassan and a lot of these people to begin with, who have now like migrated in. Like, there's still probably people beforehand who stuck around, like people who were pro-Israel during, before, after October 7th, who, were on the left. But a lot of those people just left. And I feel like when you look at the behavior of a lot of people in Ethan's audience, either they have now just gone the same way as Ethan, where they are just, just not in the right frame of mind, or they're people who've always been like this even before October 7th in regard to harassing left-leaning creators online.
That's the only reason we've been able to
continue pushing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there'd be no point otherwise.
Even after making his entire content nuke and debating Hassan live months later, Ethan still can't let his grudge and obsession with Hassan Piker go.
I promised everybody that I was going to take this to the next level when CPS showed up to my house. This is only the beginning. This is chapter 1. There's many more to come. And by the way, Hassan, if you think I'm done with you, I'm not done with you by a mile. I'm taking the trash out. I'm saving you for my main course. You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter who spends all day lying. It's funny, this narrative, Ethan's obsessed with Hassan, literally spends hours every day on his stream talking about me. I saw the guy. Don't worry, buddy. I got time for everybody. I'm making time for everybody. You know what I mean? And I'm just that kind of guy. The world is wide enough for all of us. Hamilton. So don't worry. Don't worry. You know what I mean? We go from the bottom up, and everybody's catching these hands.
If Ethan put half as much effort into making his podcast entertaining as he did into obsessing over online snarkers and Hassan Piker and filing frivolous lawsuits, he definitely wouldn't be hemorrhaging 10,000 subscribers every single month. He just doesn't care about that. And I don't know if he'll ever be able to come back from that.
We never had to clickbait anything. Like, we would upload, like, Thanksgiving, you laugh, you lose, whatever. And then people, that would get, like, 1 million views. You didn't have to clickbait it. You didn't have to be sensational. You're just like, here's a candy tier list. Those used to get a fucking million views. Yeah. Candy tier list. Because they were watching it. Yeah. What would that get? Like less than 10,000 views?
Probably.
No?
On True Detective Season 1, Matthew McConaughey said that time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle. Everything we've ever done or will do, we're going to do over and over and over again.
Well, the same metaphor can be applied to careers on YouTube. At the beginning of his career, Ethan blew up for his lawsuit establishing a matter of law for reaction videos on YouTube. But now, everyone on YouTube is blowing up at him for trying to change that definition to suit his goals of silencing his critics.
Yeah, Ethan Klein's lawsuit with Matt Haas is one of the most important lawsuits when it comes to YouTube. I have cited it, I don't even know, countless amount of times in my article. It's the only lawsuit that really took it that far, that really established what constitutes fair use on YouTube. And Ethan Klein kind of transforming into the person that was attacking him beforehand is, something that I have noticed. You start out as the guy who's defending fair use, creating the FUPA fund.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. He could have just, stuck to his guns. He could have just continued to make silly drama content regarding problematic creators online. But he instead decided to spend all of his time with this. He is now Matt Haas.
And, trying to represent creators against bullies like that. And then you are using the legal system with your own, monetary privilege. Because you're a lot richer than these people you're suing.
By the way, my favorite part about this is you guys can shitpost on Twitter all you want, but this is an actual lawsuit and it's happening and it's coming and you're gonna have to argue in front of a judge and this shit is not gonna work, right? It's not gonna work. That's the best part about it.
I would love to see a judge react to Ethan, trying to explain, what these, just trying to explain this whole situation, how a judge would react to him. How long do you think it would take him to bring up snark in front of a judge?
You guys are fucking screaming into the wind.
In many ways, Ethan Klein has become just like all the guys that he used to fight so hard against when he was younger and less wealthy. Matt Haas tried to silence Ethan for making a video laughing at him. Ryan Kavanaugh tried to silence Ethan for defaming him. But now Ethan is the one doing the silencing. Ethan is the one reacting to the court-settled apology instead of the one making the court-settled apology. And I bet at times that feels like a victory for him and his community. But in reality, it's just not.
I win. You lose. You lose everything. Look at me. This is me. I win. You lose. And you will continue to lose, and I'll tell you why.
Again, going back to, you definitely know he practiced this in front of the mirror. He thinks this goes so hard. Oh my god, but yeah, that's the thing. Even if, he wins all these lawsuits, no one is going to think different of him. Because just like the Ryan Kavanaugh lawsuit, the statement he had to make after that, everyone knows that these people are being forced to say it. They know that. The only people who are trying to make it seem like that's not the case are your fans and people who are against these creators already. No normal person online, which is not even someone the normal person online is going to look at that and be like, oh, this is believable that this is a genuine statement and not just something that they had to do after a settlement. It's not going to bring back subscribers. It's not going to make your reputation online look any better. It's just going to make it look worse. Because now you look like this guy who is getting off on all this stuff. It's just small victories that are never going to translate into anything substantial in real life. Especially when we are not even halfway through. We are a quarter of the way through of a fascist government. A fascist presidential reign. And nothing that you're doing here is helping combat that. It's almost doing the exact opposite. It's nothing. This is nothing. The fact that Ethan has devoted so much time to going after these smaller left-wing creators, and he claims to be a Democrat, he claims to be a liberal, but says nothing or little to nothing about what the right-wing government is doing right now and has been doing for the last few weeks. Has been doing for this past year. It says volumes that this is the stuff that he's focusing on, but he also wants to come off as like a serious person.
Because I'm not done. I'll never be done.
Instead, it makes him look like a bigger and bigger villain to potential subscribers. I mean, who's gonna wanna subscribe as a new watcher in the middle of all this drama when a regular H3 podcast episode looks like this?
You called me a racist. You said that I'm hallucinating anti-Semitism. You came out of nowhere. You came and you swung at the king. And you know what they say when you swing at the king, Dan?
I'm confused. Who's the king?
I am.
There's a saying in capitalist America that people vote with their dollar. Well, that saying doesn't really work or apply here anymore, but here on YouTube, people have always voted with the subscribe button. It's a way of saying that they either are or are not on board with what you're doing with your channel. If that number's going up, it's probably because you're working hard to improve your content and people are subscribing to see you continue on that journey.
It seems weird that all of this has to do, like, when you look at his most recent videos, the only thing that is actually like combating any right-wing figures, despite, you know, him supposedly caring about politics, is him, you know, talking about Candace Owens, and that was 3 weeks ago, but like no Jeffrey Epstein stuff apparently, like at least, you know, it's not, at least, you know, it's not important enough to put in the title, despite being like the biggest controversy, like the biggest thing in politics in the last month. You know, nothing of that. Talking about Twitch, because, you know, which only, even then, it directly feeds into his harassment campaigns against Twitch streamers, because that's also been a big thing of him, like trying to, you know, take sponsors away from Twitch unsuccessfully. But like nothing, like, okay, just like right here, Trump, going back to like, okay, going back to the fucking clickbaiting, what is this? Trump is stepping down? What do you think people are going to believe when they see a title like this? Like, what do you think he's stepping down from? It's funny to, oh my god, I remember this. It's funny to think that he's claiming this to be an attack. Again, clickbaiting. I was attacking public again. It was just some dude. It was just some dude with a camera phone asking him questions. Being obnoxious, yes, but still. But yeah, this is a guy who needs to be taken seriously. A guy who, a majority of his content is smaller content creators that he is accusing of, like, attacking him. Like, this is literally the only thing so far that has anything to do with, like, Epstein. Right here, the Epstein cover-up is getting insane. But I guess, you know, the files dropping wasn't a big enough deal for him. I don't know. It's just, like, so gross.
But if the whole vibe of the channel slowly shifts to be vitriolic galvanization against women and smaller creators, you're probably going to vote to unsubscribe. And you should, because there's a lot of great channels out there that make well thought out videos and interesting podcasts that you might want to subscribe to instead.
Alright, so yeah, that's the video. It was great, honestly. A great video all around. Alex is amazing at what he does. But yeah, just like, I don't know what to say, because like I've already said so much about Ethan ever since the leftover split. But yeah, like there's no, I don't want it to be the case, but I honestly don't think there's any coming back from this. Like, he's just lost the plot. He really has. Like, even if he does, like, you know, go back on a lot of the stuff that he has said about these content creators, if he actually, like, tries to make amends for the stuff that he has done, for the, you know, agony that he has caused these content creators with these frivolous lawsuits, it's still going to be a lot until I think a majority of his audience would even think about coming back. And at this point, I think it's just more profitable for him to just continue on this way, even though, like, I honestly do think, like, him just losing mass amount of subscribers over time, like, at the rate that he is currently, is probably like better for him in the short term than like switching back up and being like, I was in the wrong, because I feel like everyone who's left is just going to dip completely to the point that he's going to have no one, because everyone who has left more than likely isn't going to go back, because like at this point, like, you lost any audience you could have won back from the people who left. And if you do switch up, the people who are your fans who have been doing this, like, mass hate campaign, they're just all gonna leave, because now, you know, the one thing that they are there for is gone. But yeah, this is just it. Again, it's a great video. I saw it. I did see it when it came out, but I just didn't remember it that well. And I figured, hey, why not? I want to get back into doing like fun. I want to get back into like making content fun again. And even though it didn't seem like it, I definitely had fun watching this video. So yeah, check out Alex. And that's all for me today. And I'll see you next time.